Well, the Bible contains the principles on which I try to base my life, and I try to read Bible reading every day, but I do find it basically is the underpinning of my life.
And is there a particular passage, story, character that means something particular to you?
Well, I love the book of Isaiah, and I love the Psalms of David. At our wedding, we chose a reading from Isaiah 40, which talks about looking to the heavens and realizing that those stars were made by God's hands. And it reminds me that at times of trouble, we can call on God and rise up like eagles on wings above the problem. And that helps me at times of stress in my job.
Do you think it has a role to play in politics here at Westminster today? Because it's obviously been very influential in the past.
I certainly think the Bible has a very important role, and I'm thinking recently of the vote in Parliament on euthanasia, or as it was called, assisted dying. And as Second Church Estates Commissioner, I had to remind the House that the reason we recoil from suicide is because we have Christian, Judeo-Christian roots here, and that's based in the biblical principle of the sanctity of life. So I think that just shows you how very current legislation has to be seen in the context of important biblical principles, and to remind an increasingly secular society why we react as we do.
And is it hard sometimes to speak up for those values? Because it provokes sometimes very difficult, awkward questioning, doesn't it?
Well, I think Christians just need to be braver. I think that there's no problem about speaking about God and about the Bible in Parliament. I do both. And I think that people would be surprised to know there are more Christians in Parliament as a percentage of MPs than there are in the population at large. So I think that it would be expected for a Christian MP to talk about the Word of God. It's what we believe in. And yeah, sometimes you get a bit of criticism on social media, but it just allows you to make that point in return, which is the Bible is very important to Christians, contains the principles we build our lives on.
And how do you use it day to day? I mean, I'm assuming that you don't pick a verse and decide on a policy.
No, I don't get a pin out and stick it in the Bible and think, well, that's my text for today. Yes. No, it's more a question of thinking about the principle that's involved. So if I'm faced with a difficult decision, like which way to vote on a particular thing, there may be a Christian principle which helps me to really base my decision and enables me then to go and explain to my constituents why I think that is the right thing to do. So it provides my bottom line. And I think in politics you do need to have a bottom line. The Bible is as relevant today as it was a century, 2 centuries ago. And it's important that we show that that is the case for us today. Many of the great Christian leaders were highly political. King David is a good example, and I think Jesus clearly understood the politics of his day and replied often in a political way, a small p. And I think it's really important that Christians living out their lives in the world today are alert to the politics around them and active in those politics.